Hey, welcome to part 7. We're gonna push the tail forward in this part and we're gonna work a bit more on the main area. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm comparing it, I think we can extend the base a bit further. So I think it's fine, like right here. But I think we can push it all the way here. It's gonna be a little bit more of a cone shape. Let's put it here. So now if we compare, we see that we need some more volume. So let's go back to Maya. Gonna hide the breakup for now. Get our curves back. I'm just worried about this one for now. So remember, cone shape. Okay. I think we need to push it a little bit further. As you can see, we're matching the cone shape better now. And I think that's fine. Maybe actually better to have a little bit more volume here. So Maya. We have a lot of open space here. I'm gonna fix it with placing more cards. Let's also increase the volume on the sides. And that's why I toggle the curves, so I can't accidentally select the wrong shit. Let's take a reference. Let's have a look at the ponytail from the back side. I think this one's pretty nice. This one's a little bit too curly. So let's go with this one. As you can see, it's thin. Then it's just gonna spread out a lot. And right here should be like the base for this one. Because here we're gonna want some more opaque cards. Something like here is good. Let's make sure to add some twisting. See, we have a bunch more, oh, a lot more volume. I think we should curve this a little bit more though. Right now it's a bit of an awkward shape. Something like that. Maybe we should morph mine a little bit. Give them a color again. Remember, we're doing like a more messy version. So there should be some more hairs going like this and like this. And it's always good once you try something, you see that it's not really working, that you don't get attached to it and you just try something else. Like the thing that we had earlier, I think it didn't work as good as I wanted it to. So we're just doing something else. And by trying a lot of things and seeing whichever way works best, you're gonna get the best results. So I want to make sure that I don't go over this for the base. Maybe one card we can go over it, like in the middle of all of them. So let's move them a bit closer together. And here we can fix the intersection by adding more profile, I think. So that's good. So add some more profile here as well. And if at any point we want to edit the color, actually let's not edit the color, let's just make this one blue. And man, this mirror function is really working badly. So something more like that. So let's add a lot of flow to this one. I don't know what's up with this, but I cannot select points sometimes. I think it's just a problem with the newer version of Maya, because it wasn't happening before to me. So right now we're getting a lot of geometry accumulated here, but I'm not gonna worry about it for now. After we place all the cards, we can come in and start deleting some of the topology we don't need here. But first, let's worry about getting something that looks good. So let's actually curve this one out. I think it looks better. Just look for something that you like. So it's pretty similar, so I think we should add some twisting. Again, make sure that the ends are not the same length. Again, all this topology that we just shoving in, we can delete this later. Same as we did for this area. I think the volume that we have right now is a lot better. Let's get the breakup back. Let's hide the yellow. Actually, let's still hide it for now. I want to do one more base lay actually. We look at the cards here. Here's our current end to the base. And I think we can fill up these with one more base card. But one that's a little bit smaller maybe. So we get this. This one should end about the chin. So like this. I'm gonna make it end a little higher. So like this. And then all this is gonna be covered with the base cards. give the new color. Go with maybe orange. Purple. Let's go with purple. And for this one, I want to make sure that they're not pointing out anymore. But I want to make them come in. So we get some pointing to itself. And when you're adjusting like this, you can also look at your curves to see the flow of the hair. So you're not working completely blindly. Make sure you have an interesting flow. A little like this. Let's make the tip point out a little bit. I still want it to gently point inwards. Make sure we get rid of the symmetrical look. Because any obvious symmetry is a dead giveaway that it's fake. Like that one. So let's select these and give them their own group. Again, just following the layers. Red on top, blue, purple. Trying to close the gap here a bit. But we do want to leave some space in between the cards actually. Because we're gonna stick like breakup cards in between them. That's gonna blend the breakup with the base. This one can be a little bit less straight. So something like that. Can make it a little bit more wavy. This one's looking too symmetrical. I think that's better. Now you can see we have a lot more volume in a ponytail. Can compare. see, has a cone shape. And like I said, I want to extend some of the cards. And maybe we can use another card, like right here. One here. But this is a lot better than what we had before. Just get rid of the breakup for now. So let's see, here we can add another. I think we can do it for all the purple cards, one more card in between. So yeah, that's definitely better, filling those empty spaces up. Let's give these different colors as well. Make them pink. I'm gonna keep them in the same group as the purple, as they're on the same level. I'm gonna keep them in their own little subgroup. So again, we just did the curves. I think this one can be a little bit more white. Actually, let's do it a little bit. Take this blue card. It's curved out. And I think not a lot of people are still watching now, because it's been a very, very long time, this tutorial. But if you're still watching, you're doing pretty good. I think we're like 9 hours in right now. Just take a long time. So you can see this starting to look pretty nice. We're starting to see something of a ponytail. If we take a look, you can see how this card, I don't like how it's ending. In the reference we have a lot of big curves. So I think we should curve this card in, and we can reduce this card in length. That's the blue one. And this one we need to make sure that see, it can be a little bit tricky to find it, so we can just go to red. That's also why it's nice to have a nice organized scene. Oof, it's a lot. Let's just do by hand. So something more like this. And take the blue card. Let's give this some nice curves. Move this one up a little bit. Give this some more flow. And this one. Just point it out a bit more. Same for this red card. And add a bit more flow. Because I do want to capture the messy look of this. I think it's really nice. And generally like waviness and messiness. That stuff is gonna look a lot more interesting in 3D hair. So make sure that you pick like a nice hairstyle that has some curves and some waviness. If you're just gonna do hair that goes straight down, it's gonna be pretty boring. Make this one a bit longer. I don't like how much of the card we see here. Oh, that's a little bit nicer. Can do the same for this one. I think it's super straight right now. Just select the last two and with soft select, rotate it. Just like that, it looks a bit more interesting. All that I'm looking for now is like an interesting flow in the ponytail. I think right now, like if we keep it like this, the shape's a bit too artificial. Maybe twist it. Push it in. I think that looks a little bit more natural. Things are looking quite unsymmetrical, a bit too much now. We have a lot of emptiness here. Let's take this card. Let's do a mirror. And I think that fixes it pretty well. I think we should move this one a bit. I think like that, it's okay. Again, trying to find that nice pointy behavior. I think this is a pretty strong card. Like you can see, it's bringing some three-dimensionality here. Probably want to do another one like that here. Rotate it. Like this, maybe. Something like that, nice. Okay, it's not really heavy. We can take this here. We can put it like on top of this one. It's like laying and resting on top of it. Yeah, now you can see we're starting to get some nice three-dimensional shapes. Let's take this one. Let's push it out a little bit. I want to do one more like this over here. So we can take this one, duplicate. That's a more profile. Nothing that nice. Let's make safe. So I think we can take this red card and make it a little bit short and have it stick out so we can fit some cards underneath. I think these are looking too similar. Just make sure it's laying on top of it. Let's do it. First let's fix this. A little bit of a weird view here. Something more like this. Fixed intersection. You can see poly count's a bit low. Can increase it like this. I'm gonna do it later on with toggle geometry edit. I'm gonna use the multicut. You just fill out the gap here a bit more. Maybe we can and it's a bit too much of a curve right now. And I want to taper it. So also add some more twist. So now let's check it out. You can see now it's looking a lot more messy, like we want it to look. So that's good. Let's make a quick screenshot. Yeah, you can really see the difference. Like here it's super straight and boring. Now we got some interesting shapes going on. I think maybe we can make it more thick here. Same for here, we can make it a lot more thick here. Let's also check Unreal. As you can see, really boring, small. That's looking a lot better. You can see how it's starting to resemble the hair by now. So one thing I'd like to point out is that we can go to main camera. We can up the contrast a bit. For this we need to be in main camera. We can look for something that we like. So something like this. We can change this stuff. I'm also gonna add a vignette. So now that we changed all the stuff in the base layer, we're gonna need to fix the breakup layer again. Again, I'm gonna hide the curves. And let's just focus on the green ones first. And we have a lot of colors for now. Let me just make everything brown again. As you can see, now we can easily spot breakup and base. Can make sure to get some nice messy look. I want to make sure that I don't have it flowing the same way as this card. Just kind of playing with it. And this part looks a little odd, but it's okay because we're gonna cover it later. Last minute. And I think we can make this card a bit longer. Actually, I think we can just select curve and try and extend Let's do by hand. I think it's a bit too long now. Let's go with something like that. To make sure it looks more interesting. Something like that. Let's get the yellow. And just, do I want to delete them? No, actually I'm just gonna move these. And again, don't spend too much time laying these out, because we're gonna be moving them around all the time. So I just want to quickly try to fill them out a bit and create some flow. So I'm just trying to find something that I like. I think something like this with more taper. Can make this thicker. Again, I'm just using the graph here to only curve one section. And as you can see, to make hair, you want to be somewhat comfortable in the program that you're working with. I'm moving between all the different viewing modes all the time and changing my gizmo up and whatever. Soft selecting and all. So it's good to be comfortable with the program that you're using. But I'd say most importantly is that your program has a good plugin to lay down curves for hair. And after this breakup, we can start adding breakup cards in between, like here we have these triangle shapes. That's perfect to place like another card here. It's coming down. Then do the same here. Then we start to get more empty space here. So then we can stick another card here. We can just slowly work our way down. Now everything's gonna come together in like a triangle pointy shape. Like the reference. Like if we look to this, you can see here's the bulk that we're having right here. And everything's gonna come together a bit. So I'm just trying to create that effect now. Let's also get Unreal open again. So let's go ahead and re-import the texture. A mesh, I mean. Press G to get rid of the grid. One thing that is bothering me is that the ends of these are almost the same. So let's see if we can fix that in a texture. Again, once you open up the program, you have to change these again. It's a little bit annoying. I wish it would keep them. So let's see, I think it's this card. Yes, that one. So let's go to design. And let's see if we can get these ends a little bit different. So let's try main scatter and length randomness. That's not gonna do it. Maybe if we go to the clump, we add some flyaway. I'm not sure if we can get rid of it easily. So maybe something like this, just so that these two parts, they don't look as similar. We can play with C to get a different transform. I think it's a little bit different now. Let's see what it looks like. But right now it's a little bit less the same, I think. So let's try and export. And it's not reloading. It's because we used the JPEG earlier. I think that looks more different. Let me check. Let's get the textures and re-import. And yeah, that looks a little bit more different, so that's good. I still like how the textures look on this here. You can also play around and duplicate the material. Let's call this hair. Actually, let's call this one hair. This one hair too. We can make this a different color. Go with like a reddish maybe. And go with this. This is just for when you get sick of looking at the same material all the time. We can change it once in a while. Let's continue to work on it. Do have some weird stuff going on there. Let me see if that is an intersection or... I think it's underneath this one. think it will be hidden with all the stuff. If it doesn't go away later, we can fix it. So this time we can make it go a little bit further than just the base cards. So looking at the reference, our main part should stop about here. So that's halfway at the neck. So something like this should do it. Let's go ahead and give this one a new color. Let's go with orange. That's a little bit similar to the brown. Let's go with a white. Now, like I said earlier, we're just gonna place them like in between the cards, with these little empty spaces. And again, don't be too worried with how the cards look. Just filling them out, and then we go to mom set and see how it's looking. And we change them up. But I'm trying to avoid repetitiveness as much as I can. At this point, I'm gonna use a lot of twisting in the hair. As I like how it looks. I think it makes things look more interesting to have a bunch of twisting. And this right here, it's a really boring shape, as you can see. It's just going straight down. So make sure that you have some curvature going on from every angle. So that looks a lot more interesting now. Same for this one. Get some curvature from this view. Just move it like this. Now everything's pointing in this direction. I think it's a little bit too repetitive. So let's get this one pointing in. I think we're doing a bit too much curl for this one now. Now we're building like an outline. Like we have this shape here. Now we can stick some cards in here, make them go down here. We want to create like a kind of a fluffy effect to fill this up. Maybe we do some base cards actually going here, like 3 of them. So we will get this will be, it's really thick. I don't know why. Alright, let's keep it thick, I guess. So we get like 1, 2, 3. So this will be 1 card. Then we have like another card here and another card here. It's just gonna fill up the emptiness a bit. I think we should go ahead and do that first. Do an export, see how this looks. I think that's starting to look pretty nice. This one might be sticking out a bit too much though. You can see how we're creating some nice depth in the model. Like having these open spaces is good. Hair has a lot of open spaces. I think we might need to have this all come in a little bit more like this over here. So let's just take a screenshot, go to Photoshop, and let's do a check. Let's do a new paint over. Don't need this. So the base, I don't want it to be out of this line, or our main part. So that's actually pretty good. Actually, I think we can keep this. Maybe twist a bit like this. So it should be pointing out this card. And again, it's good to sometimes check, do your reference and just kind of see how it's matching. You don't need to make it a perfect match, but it can help guide you. I think that's nice. And actually we don't need to fill the space with base cards. Maybe we can do it later. But for now I'm gonna call the main part of the ponytail done. As you can see, we ended up not doing the cover. As we changed the workflow a bit. We're basically doing the same with the breakup cards, where we're placing some and then placing some others down there. So that's creating the same effect. I think eventually I'll go in and put some more cards in between here, but for now let's call the main part done. let's go to the second part. So the second part, I'm gonna start by doing these big ones. As you can see, we have like this big chunk of hair. It's gonna cover a lot of our ponytail. So let's start by modeling that one out. And first again, let's assign some colors. Let's take all the breakup that we did. Just gonna assign one color. Let's go with an orange. And actually, I think I'm gonna go back to the main part first to finish up the breakup here. As you can see now, the ponytail's quite far. It's in a pretty good spot for now to start working on the main part again. Because remember, we want to be doing the hair as one whole, not just finish one whole part and then finish one whole other part. So I think we should spend some time now here. So I'm just gonna need to fill out these areas to finish the breakup. So let's go ahead and fill these last areas up. So top. I think I'm gonna split the top part up as well. It's the base, breakup, top. Let's just take all these cards, group them. Let's call them top cards. Now let's move this card to its own group and call this sides. I don't like to have too many cards in one group because it can be a little bit less clear. So just to break it up, it's good. It's gonna make it more organized. And I'm not adding them all to their own layers, because I want one layer to just represent one layer. Like, we have the base layer, that should be one layer, the breakup should all be on one, the cover should all be on one. We can split the cover too maybe, but I think I'll keep it in the same. The baby has its own and so on. This is just so we can toggle the curves easily. So it's placed in the middle, so we have green, green, and then we can place a yellow and a yellow. Let's take a reference. And this part. And this is the last time I'm gonna mention it, but my second screen I've got another reference board. This is just to show you where I'm kind of focusing on. Like that. I'm gonna need to push this one down a bit. Make sure that we have some flow. That did a pretty bad job. Maybe if we do it one by one, it does a better job. You can see that it's better now. So yellow. Yellow. Select these two. And already in the right folder. I'm not sure about how this is gonna look together, but we're gonna cover this with the cover layer and I think it will all be fine. And if not, we can come back. Again, this is a nice part from having things in group. Now you just click the group, going solo. You can easily select those curves. Now I can mirror them. And make sure that you have everything selected before grouping. Let's call this left. And right. Insert these things again. And you just want to look at these little lines, like almost on the line. So here, almost on the line as well. Go ahead and hide the yellow ones for now. And if you really could want, you could just make the side parts that we did totally symmetrical. So then you'd just be working on one side with the curves, and all the way at the end of your hairstyle, you delete the history and you mirror them over, and then you have them here as well. But for the back side and the top side, you want to make sure that you're not working with symmetry. Because if this is symmetrical, it's gonna be really noticeable. But I prefer to just not work with symmetry anywhere at all. This is just gonna make sure that we have some slight variation in the textures. In the model, I mean. Make sure it's a little bit before the base layer, in front of the base layer. See, we should fix this as well. It's not connecting. The other side is better. Just making sure it's actually connecting all the way towards the ponytail. You can see how the flow is really weird on this card. It's going like here, then it goes like this. So that's this one and the one above. It should be more like this. One curve that's weird because we hit it. No. So we pretty much covered the whole thing with breakup now. Again, let's come in at some cards and flip the UVs. We might need to move them around a little bit after flipping. But you can see how this is really repetitive here. And as soon as we flip it in the horizontal, you can see that it looks different now. Same for here, this is looking super repetitive. I think those might all be using the same texture still. Yeah, that's the problem. So this should be, I think, the yellow one. I think it's this one. Yep. So let's select every other curve. Those are all the yellow cards. Let's hit transfer UV. And we can select one, another one. Actually, we need to do it one by one, I think. So flip. Let's flip as well. Let's flip the green one in the middle as well. So that's the next part. I think the breakup's looking really good for now. You can see this a bit problematic with how the hair's looking. It's like one big chunk and one big chunk. Here it's blending a little bit better. I think it can fix itself with the cover layer on top. But if not, we're gonna need to come back and fix that later. But again, you just keep working up layers and layers and going back one layer. But at this point, when I'm doing the cover layer, the next layer, I shouldn't have to go back to my base layer anymore. Like, it's okay to go one layer down, but if you're gonna have to go multiple layers down, you're gonna need to edit so much all the time. So you wanna make sure when you move on to a new layer, that the layer underneath your old layer is done. So now the base layer should be done. But of course it can happen that you need to go back and make changes. It's just gonna be more painful. The more layers you have, the more you need to redo. So you can see that's looking good. Same problem here. We can clearly see some separation. So blending a lot better on the other side. I think one of the problems is this card. Like, we can try to average the flow out. Like right now, here it's going like this and here like this. So with a card in the middle, we can take it. We can try to find like a nice average in between the two flows. Let's take the yellow card. Let's just go ahead and rotate this a little bit. Actually, let's try it like this. I think we need to make it thinner. Like this. Let's make sure it's more cap-like, it's oriented. You can see that's looking a bit better. I think it's blending better now. For now, let's move on to the next layer, the cover layer. And let's pull it up. These are gonna be like cards. They're gonna break up the current flow that we have right now. Right now everything is really boring and the same. These are gonna be hairs that are like pulled down with the fingers to be less tense. So they're gonna make these different shapes that are more interesting on top of the hairstyle. So as you can see, we have a clear shape here, shape going here, another shape like here. So we're gonna try to replicate that. This is a really big one that's gonna help. So let's actually pull up a reference. And you can see that for the cover and the breakup we're gonna be using the same cards. But I don't think I made a card like this yet, where it's like really thin with a nice spread in the roots. So let's check. No, we didn't. So let's make this card. We also need to do the flow breakups, like I said earlier. These little things. But let's do the... Actually, let's do them now. I think I'm gonna move the flow breaks out of the breakup. Let's just put them above the cover. So we can call the breakup done for now. Let's just give them all an orange color. Now let's take the flow breakups. We can move them to their own layer. Let's resync. Like you see, they have their own color again, and we can hide these curves. Now we can stop breaking up the flow a little bit. Let's move them a little bit closer. Maybe we can make them a little bit... I think we're actually gonna go ahead and make a new card for this. Because right now if we... let's do an export. It's quite hard to tell, like it's here. But it isn't breaking up the breakup as much as I wanted to. If anything, it's more adding to the silhouette, which I don't really want at this point. Because the reason is like, I want to have some nice breaking clumps in it. Let me open up Fiber Shop. Let's make a new card. Call this specific clump. I think the first thing we need to do is make the hair a bit thicker. So something like this, so you can see them a little bit better. Let's reduce them by a lot. Okay. Let's get rid of this clump. Let's go in this one. I want them to really stick together here. And over here. Maybe reduce them more. Let's keep like this. Yeah, let's do a really strong clump together here. Let's make sure that's breaking up a bit. So now we have a clear, distinct hair here and here. But I would like to have like two clumps. So let's up the reduction maybe. So yeah, here. You can see this card's looking a lot different than this one. Maybe try some fly away. Nope. Again, just play with the sliders until you're getting something that you like. And I think I want to make them a little bit thicker still. Let's check out the alpha. Yeah, they're still pretty similar. So thickness, bump this up. Let's make sure that we make the tip a lot thinner though. Same for the root. Move this a little bit closer. So I think that's a pretty distinct card, like it looks really different from this one. But let me try if I can like get this little hair here to stick to the other one. So I think this one. I don't think it's gonna wanna stick to each other. Maybe something more like this. Let's try this. Skipped out what we had. I think. Oops. So let's keep that 6. Let's try to make it a little bit longer. So like that. I think this can work. Because this card is really different now from the other cards. So let's bake it. Export. And remember, we need to touch the UVs again. So let's go to Photoshop and alpha stretch it. And man, it's I don't know what's up with the action, but it's just like a surprise at this moment which color we're gonna get. I'm not sure why, but it's kind of cool, the random color, I guess. So let's reload that. Now this one, let's open the UV editor. Apply the UV material. Just make sure it's in the UVs, so that's good. Now let's apply a new color again. Let's go with green. Now here let's do green as well. Let's transfer the UVs. Let's play around a bit with this. I think a width like this can work, actually. And remember, we want to break the flow up a little bit here, but not too much yet. So, if you can see, it's just breaking up this perfect flow a little bit. And I want to see how that's gonna look like. And stuff like this can be pretty difficult to actually check and see how it's affecting your overall hairstyle. So we just want to edit this a little bit. And make sure it's actually breaking up the flow. You don't need to break it up too much, but just a little bit. Because it's also gonna break the repetitiveness by just the texture being different and a little bit thick and so on. I think this is a little bit too straight. Let's make it flow like this. Let's just follow the same flow for now. And we don't need to place them all in between. We're just gonna use a few here and there. So let's do an export. So we can take a screenshot. Make sure to screenshot everything. Go on Photoshop. Space that. We can get now we can get rid of the flow break, do another export. I think you can see the difference quite clearly, how it's breaking the repetitiveness. It's looking weird. It's looking really weird. I'm not sure why it's so much darker. So I don't like it at all. Let's take a look. I think it's the ID map. So let's go into mom set. Do another export. So it's really dark, as you can see. And yeah, it's just the ID map. So I haven't checked the ID. You can see how it's looking a little bit weird, the ID map. So let's see if we can actually fix that. That's just because of the different depth. So let's keep the depth density low. A little bit higher. Yeah, that's better. As you can see now, it's more white, everything. That's just because the more depth you have, the more depth. Hold on. We can open the 3D one. I think it will be a little bit more clear to explain. I don't like to use this to edit my hairs, by the way. But if you see, if we do a high depth density, it's gonna have a lot of depth to it. And we don't want this for this specific layer. Gonna want to use depth density with the base layer and so on. But for this it should be pretty much on the same. So just make sure they have like a nice white color. Let's try something like this. So as you can see, this looking a lot better. Now we can clearly see the cards that we put in and how they're breaking the repetitiveness of the hair. I think they're a little bit too thick though. So let's go to Maya. Let's see, do we want to change the width here? I didn't know that. If you edit like an attribute, it's also gonna reload the textures, which is nice. So let's keep it like this. It's still too thick. Let's check it out in Unreal. Reload everything. Yeah, I think in Unreal you can really tell how much the breakup just did there. So let's take a screenshot of this. And if you have a lot of stuff, the export's gonna be a little bit more slow. Now you can really tell how much this is gonna add. Like you can see how it's just breaking up this perfect look. It's adding some imperfections to it. And whatever you're making in 3D, if it's hair or it's a pants, a jacket, the thing that's gonna make it look realistic is breakup. So right now, all this, it doesn't have any breakup at all. It's all going in the same repetitive direction. But if we now zoom in, have this card, you have like some hairs that go like this. You can see how that's gonna break up the flow and it's gonna add some realism. But I think we do want to go in here. Take these hairs, just slightly make them less thick, so something more like 0.5. We're also wasting quite a lot of space. Let's move it over. Again, try to get as close as you can. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the power of using Photoshop. It's so easy to adjust your textures. Like let's say when we saw that the ID map is not working, it's making it look too black and weird. If you then have to go to your Maya, you need to exit out your current scene and open up your XGen file and then do a bake in there. And it's just a really painful process to go through every time. And you're gonna end up saying, never mind, I'm not gonna fix it, I don't wanna deal with it. But as it's so easy with Photoshop to make adjustments, you're gonna make adjustments way more often. I do think that you can get better textures with XGen though. So that's something to keep in mind. But for me, the quality is not worth the pain of using XGen. I really don't like using it. So for me, the 40 euros as well that you have to pay for Photoshop is definitely worth it. I think there are also some cheaper options, but if you get the cheaper options, you cannot export in 4K. So let's pay some attention to the ends. And again, we're just adding the cards to where we think we need some breakup from the repetitiveness. I'm not gonna do like groups like side, back and top, as we're not gonna have as many cards in here. So we can just mirror it and keep it like that. Orient it a bit. At this point we can also say we're gonna add some twist to break up the silhouette. Like this can also help to make the hair more believable. We're gonna do this for, like the silhouette is perfect right now. And all the way in the last layer, the fly, we're gonna break it up. But we can start to kind of play with breaking it up with this layer. So if I export this, you can see that the silhouette here is still pretty much the same. But we are getting a little bit more depth here. But here we have a lot more depth in the silhouette, as you can see. This is gonna push it to be more realistic. I think this one, can move it up a bit. Also hide the ponytail for now. This just so we can kind of see what we're actually doing. And again, make sure that you're breaking up the flow a bit. And now on this card, I'm gonna make sure to do 2 of them. And put them really close together, I think. That's something like this. Maybe here. This is just to try to have it a little bit less repetitive, so you don't see as clear as a pattern. Let's make them clump together. Like right now, I think it's a little bit more random to have like, here all the spacing is the same, and then here we come in and we do 2. This way we can break the pattern of laying them out a bit. But let's see how it looks. Maybe it looks worse a bit too. No, I think that looks pretty nice if we do 2 next to each other. Do want to make this one thinner though. So let's open up the UV. I think we can flip the UVs here. Oh yeah, we can, that's great. I didn't know that. So we don't need to open the UV editor all the time. Give it a bit more flow. Again, I'm making sure that the hairs are clumping together. So something like this. Just move them a little bit closer. And I think we can take this hair and just pull it down a bunch. It's gonna have the effect that there's like some hairs that are pulled down to have less tension. So imagine this is a hand and it's just pulling down to release tension. To clarify. Just trying to replicate the effect of like these hairs. As you can see, these are more tense, and this one's are less tense as it's been pulled. This is also the reason why some hairs are like less long here, together with that hair starts here to grow and here. But this would create more variation in length, pulling them down. Give it a bit more twist. And after pulling something down, you want to make sure that it's not going like this. Like this is impossible, because we have gravity, right? Let's pull this one up. So let's see if something like this can look good. At this point I'm not worried. We can have can have it intersect, it's totally fine. Look. I think it's okay, but it's a little bit too strong. I want to be a little bit more subtle, so we can just make it less thick. Let's do an export. You can see now it's nice and subtle. Okay, that's looking a little bit weird, the graffiti. Let's go in and just pull this down a little bit. I think that looks more normal. Just duplicate. Make sure to pull some things so it's not exactly the same. Again, I'm not doing it over here because I want to break the pattern up a bit. Let's move it just keep it like this. Less thick. Remember, we still have the custom normal. Also gonna take a look how that's looking right now. It's gonna make the ponytail look really weird, the custom normal, because it's outside. So let's see. I think that looks quite nice as well. You can see how it's all nice and smooth now. I think we're definitely gonna play around with custom normals at the end. I'm thinking that we'll probably do all this that we have as a custom normal, because it's all going in the same direction, right? So it should be nice and smooth. And then what we're gonna do now, actually let's finish off the top first, but then the cover where the smoothing is changing, like there's a lot of different directions, we're gonna use no custom normal. We'll see at the end. Let's start cleaning up the top. There we go. And I think we can change the width to save some on the poly count. you can see, as the card is so thin, it's not gonna add a lot. So let me just select all these cards. Let's change them to 2. You can see changed a little bit, but not too much. You can see how much poly count it saves. Like right now we have 250 faces or 500 tries. And if we put it at 3, you can see that we have double the poly count, so 1k for just these breakups. So let's make sure that we keep them at 2. That's also nice from having everything in group. You can easily check how much poly count one individual layer has. Like let's say this layer has 5,000 tries and it's only breaking up a little, then I know, oh hey, I wanna adjust the poly count a lot on this layer. You have quite a lot of empty space here, hold on. Let's open the editor. We get a bit alpha. And again, a new color. Actually, I think it's just taking the color that we put here. Oh, that's pretty cool. We can pick a color here. Let's just update the texture, and yeah. And again, like this, it's bad because you have a lot of alpha overdraw. You wanna try to match it better. As you can see, that's matching a lot better now. So first select this one, select the other ones, Control Shift. If we hit transfer UVs, it doesn't work. This one, I think it's working actually. Hold on, green, Control Shift. Now it should all update. Nope. Need to select them one by one. Now it should work. As you can see, it's working. Gonna need to thin them out a bit. Select the ones that are close to each other. Let's make this thinner. Actually, I think we made them all too thin. There. Put them all like that. These ones, we can thin them. It's looking good. Let's follow the flow a bit better for the top one. Again, the front part of the hair is gonna be the most important. You see this more often. Again, I'm breaking up the flow a little bit here. Should be following the flow. Yeah, I want to break up the flow going inwards. Because if we both do it outwards, it's gonna look more symmetrical. I think like that. So next part. You can kinda see them, how they're like nice breakups. So let's call that done for now, this layer. Actually, let's fix that. Just move this down a little bit. Same here. I think that's gonna look a little bit more smooth. Fine for now. And as you can see, the hair is starting to look less repetitive. So let's just take this view. You can see once we can toggle the layer off and on, you can really see how it helps breaking up the repetitiveness of the hair. We're starting to get some nice breakups in the detail. So without. Now with. You can see how it helps, makes it a lot more interesting. And that's it for part 7. In the next part we're gonna work a bit on the cover layer, which is gonna create more breakup in the hair and more depth.